Hi. So let's look at one of the things that I think is really useful about Rockstar Widow and how it's gone for everybody is that we started off very excited. We started off with kind of a blank slate. There was no deadline pressure per se. There was no sense of okay, it's got to be this way. We had like blank slate, which I think is really fun and really useful and happens a lot on shows. But then very quickly you get into a world where you've started limiting it down, whether it's the expectations that you've created or that others have created, stuff like that. And there, I think, really two major ways that it can go out of that. The first one is that it can be too much. You're not seeing the results, and because you're not seeing results that justify the time and the money and the everything else that goes into it, if you're not seeing that, then the likely thing is to quit. Now, if you can quit, there's not really anything wrong with that. It's a hard thing. And if you're not really like, no, I have to complete this show and get it out into the world, then in some ways, the sooner you quit, the better, because you can go on to something else. But if what you really want is to achieve having a finished show and getting it out in the world, maybe even getting it performed, getting it produced, or heaven forbid that you've got Broadway aspirations, stuff that big, then really what you've got to be able to do and create for yourself is to keep going even when you don't have a lot of evidence telling you should keep going. And so the thing I like to create out of that is getting really clear on what would be a success for me with the show. So with Rockstar Widow, what would really be the success for me is having a fully professional production of it that's well performed, well attended. I'm not even that attached to where, and that we get a really good archive of and a professional cast album of that can then live on. And then the bonus would be that lots of places will do it. I think it's a show that's perfect for the community theaters and even to some extent high schools everywhere, because it's got this strong female character and then a lot of opportunity for other characters and for big numbers and things like that. Now, then there's the kind of luck intangible thing of going to Broadway, or if you're willing to put yourself on the line and raise money. I like to say that there are only three things you need to have a show on Broadway. It's actually pretty straightforward. You need a show, check, right? You need a certain amount of money. Right now, that's anywhere from 16 million and up, depending on the show. And then third, there needs to be a theater, one of the 41 or so theaters that count as Broadway theaters, has to be available, and you have to be able to book it. That really is, that's what it takes. If you think about I don't know, depending on how many Broadway shows you've seen, some of you have probably seen some real stinkers. I know I have. I'm not going to mention them, even if they're by people who are no longer with us, but there have been some real stinkers. So how did that show make it? It wasn't on, wasn't that everybody was delusional. It was that there was a lot going for it at various times in its development. It didn't turn out that way. Something or many things went wrong. And so if we start to, the Broadway aspect of it is really that, but you have complete control over whether you get your show written, whether that show's producible and gets produced, and whether you capture the show between the script and, maybe some video, although it's always very involved, and then a recording of the audio. Those are the things that you have a lot of control over and really can ultimately be accomplished for not that much money. Certainly for enough that I think just about anybody is capable of raising with a little bit of work and coaching. So the biggest thing was we had to keep going. We didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have a lot of evidence that it was going to, be successful on that kind of level. And so we had to create for ourselves keeping going. And so far, mostly have. I took a lot of last year away from it, for various reasons, but part of that is because of laying the foundation for what we're doing now. And so, this 100-day journey here is also a big part of it. And man, it's exciting to share it with you. So thanks for watching.